In this session, we're going to add some mages to the game that shoot fire, which when they are when they are created, they follow my position or follow us forever. We add another type of mage that can instantiate things like this. Last session, we talked about how to, for example, make the enemy to move, to jump, and also how to attack us using a sword or the melee attack. But in this session, we're going to cover those enemies that do not use the melee attack and they use projectile, something like fireball, and some of them they do not walk; they just are floated in the air. So we tweak their AI, and also there are some enemies that are still on the ground. Before we continue, let's go and make a prefab from the enemies, and I put them there. Um, this you can give them different names, but that's fine for now. I delete them, and then I'm going to import some arts of the, for example, some mage that I've made in Photoshop. For example, this woman, which consists of different layers. She wants to project these balls, and also that is explosion. And we have another thing. Okay, he doesn't move, and he doesn't make a projectile like this, but he makes something that is moving on the ground, and it's like the ice crack effect that is some game you might have seen. And yes, and I was inspired from this model, and I have made that in the Leonardo.ai, and I made something out of that. And now we have to export them one by one, unlike the as you remember that we had in the player session how we made the animation and put them all beside each other. Then I'm going to do that, and then I return to you. Here are my models, and I have animated them. Let me bring it here. This is for idle, attack, death, hurt, run. And if you want to know how I did that, you should go to the player animation session, and in detail I have told you how to animate your character. I say maybe if you didn't see that video, please go and first see that if you don't know how to animate. And also for the ice mage, as it doesn't run and is just standing here, so I don't have any run animation, it just dies. It fires or kind of shoots something. I tell you how. And the idle. For example, you can add hurt animation if you want, but as I want to be faster, just let's assume that's okay. You have that, and let me first work on this enemy. Also, I have a projectile, or I don't know. This is not fireball, but mm, it's something that is going to be shooted from this towards the player. Okay, that has this shape, and when it is explode, it shows just one round of that animation. And right now, I'm not doing anything with that. Let's go to the code. The code for 90% is just similar to the previous code that we had for the enemies that had the melee attack. You can copy and paste this code to another script and just change some parts for the mage But I'm going to use the same code. So I say serialize field, just check that if it's a mage or not. Bool is mage. So when I say, okay, that's if it's a mage, at first it is false. It means that this is not a mage, and it just does the code for the melee attack. But let me save that and show you in the inspector. Go to script, enemy AI, and give it to this. And you have a checkbox here. Mage, yes it is, so I check that. If I don't check for the other enemies, it means that they are, for example, they are tank and they are using the melee attack. But for this, I check that. And this is for the attack. I don't want that my mage does something like this. So it wouldn't have created a circle, okay, if this is something like that, because she's not using a, sword or axe. Actually, she just want to instantiate a fireball. So we will use another function and say private void fire attack. It means that it makes create fires or anything. You just make the projectile. Okay, so and also in no, I just give the damage amount to the self. Here here I go to this part and say we want to instantiate. Here in the animation and in the attack. This so I need to get that position. So I say serialize field private transform, for example, fireplace or fire point. So I go here and say instate fireball, where in the fireplace my fireball is rounded, so I don't need to say the rotation on Y. But as it is rounded, it doesn't matter if this like this or like this. This is kind of similar. Simply just say 3, and then it is instantiated. And for delay, I can use, yes, the enumerator or invoke. But remember, if this has this parameter, then you cannot use invoke. You have to use the enumerator. But as it doesn't have a parameter here, I can use I towards the player. But she wouldn't jump because I want to make her to be floated in the air. Um, let me use the same. Where is that? The same thing. If you use less rigid body, that would be as it's moving. Yes, it should have the same animation. I can put that outside here, but this is fine. And what we need, so it is, if it's a mage, it uses that. If it is not, like previous enemies, it has to attack running falls. But this and this should go to, let's say, if is mage something, and is spell, and I say invoke. I want to invoke the F, this method is executed. After 0.3 seconds, the fire attack is uh, executed. She can be that far from me, so I make it 5. Me and make a folder for F mage, female mage, and projectile. Right now it doesn't have any code, but no problem. And drag and drop it here. It you can pass through that, then make it is trigger. Or if you don't want that, so yes, she's moving. Like in that distance, she will stop and attack, instantiate that. When I go further, she still attacks, and when I go very very far, she. Let's make it 6, 7, so that I see. For example, I go here. Yes, she had to stop following me. I think 12 was too much. E, um, she's not doing. If you see that it is kind of flip weird because of that pivot there. So before you make your animations, always move them in a way, for example, to move them a little bit so that this would be in the center. But I forgot it for her, but you get the idea. And there is an error, but it goes because she doesn't need that. Because she's a mage. Ah, this is because of this. So if is not a mage, then show that. So to prevent those errors. Now everything works good, but the only thing we need is the you see, you can make it to go in that um example you can make it's that only on the instantiated it follows the player to where it was. But let's go and you don't for prefabs don't delete them here. Go there, give them a circle collider and make it a smaller because no 2D or B and you say anim yes get 4 and RB is body B. So the fireball needs to go towards the player. Find the player here as well. So say private game object. Um, is the calculate the direction between the ball and the player. Imagine that this is that ball and this. So we say something we had before. Vector 2 direction equal we say okay, RB that's velocity is equal to new vector 2. We want both the direction and also x and y. Also this and this, so it would move direction. So it means that it moves both on the x. Something in between would be actual directions. So we private is speed equals to, for example, 3f, and it's better, oh, 3f, no, just 3, and make it serialized field. Let's go and test the game. Doing its work, you can go and the gravity scale to you can change that some until that you get something that you like. So if you're gonna jump, it's very hard to say that, but it's like a football. Oh, I cannot jump because this is not grounded. So yeah, it is weird. Let me make the gravity scale 0. So it moves because the pivot point of my player is here. So I had to add manually an offset so it would attack at the center of my body. Okay, and also, so here I say serialized field price float y offset, and no, to the to this one, and make the y offset, for example, to 2, and gravity scale to 2. Now let's test it. That's too much. So, and I need to. Now, if I go up, the fire is, whenever I go, the fire is shooted towards. It is very instinctive. Until it gets something good. Right now, it shoots my head. So I make it less. Yeah, I think that is a good number. 7. So, do you see that we had lots of balls on the ground? So we have to somehow delete them. So we get it. If you don't say Here in updates, the timer plus the time. That's still the time. So this aging and this, and now here we check if timer actually more or equal to that, then destroy the game object. So, and what if I want that the animation will be played when it hits me? Then we go to say on collision, enter 2D, say if collision, that's game object, that's compare tag, or anything, not only the player, but I want to decrease the also take damage. So the set component, first let me make it to lose health, that take damage, for example 5. But no matter what it collides to, it shows the collision animation, which I say set trigger. Here, it is called explode. If nothing is shown here, you can close the tab and again go to Animator so it is shown for you. So the explode, that is called explode. What's that? Explode. And after it explodes, I want that it be destroyed. Let me show you another way that you can destroy that. So say public void destroy go game object, and I say okay, do that. You can say okay, invoke and give some seconds so the animation will be played and then it is destroyed, or you can directly go to the animation of the destroy. The explode is something like this. Last frame, you can, if I not then I so it frame Do that. It's fun. So, and this on the ground. Most game don't matter. Let's make it, give it a, for example, a box. Any type of collider you can, and you can make it is trigger. Simplicity, let's remove that, and we have, okay, this box collider, and this is more um, efficient for the performance because it is simpler. And we want that this make this, so let's make it a prefab. Go here in, I'll make it a folder, so because I both want to grab him, I would instantiate. Don't need that, we don't need the speed, we don't need damage because we're going to give the damage amounts to the needle code itself. And why we added that, it was for the beating, for the melee attack. We don't need that. Um, yes, Animotor, we need it. The cooldown, the timer, yes, yes. Nope. Mm, yes, we need the fireplace and fireball. Fireball is the needle size, say the ice um, needles. And I say ice place or ice needle place. And remove those things you don't need. Yes, if the player is dead, it shouldn't do anything. It has to calculate when the enemy when the player is close to that. So if it is more than that, it do nothing. It does nothing. And if this is that case, we don't have this. Um, no, we don't need this entirely. We say else if distance is less than the site distance. And the timer, we need to have the cooldown for the attack. Yes, flip, but don't show this. Nope. Yes, and more move towards the player. We completely don't need that because this doesn't move. You just look at this direction and this direction. And when an enemy gets, for example, to some point, to the line of sight, then bring the. Let's use the animation. Me is to five here, and we're done. You might say, okay, what is the hurt and death? Why we didn't use that? Because we're going to use something. Yes, spell. So let's save the code and see what would happen. That we're working on that because here we have to change the quaternion identity. This is a correct. The ISP on ice. So let me quickly move that to here. We use different things. offset. One is better to be lowercase. For example, we say 1f. That this, and then we go to our code. As I want to give it a delay between for the y 0 and for the z 0. That's this is for so the first needle will be here, and the second thing it adds -1 on the x. It means it's coming clearing the needles, the ice needles. Okay, so okay, this is the position. Now we want to instantiate it. Instantiate. Okay, what do you want to instantiate? The needle. So it's instant access to player health, um, which is this here. Um, then add this. I can it, or you can make this, for example. Don't forget to give that code to that one. And it's so now we can see what is happening. You see, all of them appear, and this is very ugly. This hill is and I multiplied by scale. It was 0.8. in each for 3 of them. So it will work 5 times. And we need to update that, but we want to change the scale of the needle. If I say this, it means the Iceman. So now we have this, and let's go and test the game. So inspector as well. I think that is better. And the offset a little bit more. I need to fix some have some delay between themselves. So the best thing, one of the ways that we use the enumerator, just change void to enumerator, and I tell you how to change that here before we forget. I think that this has been instantiated, and something like that. We can turns to this to me. Everything is just. make it to be towards me. I think that's yes. And also it should come in this direction. And transform the position x of the player is less than the x of this. It means that player is on the left. Too. So if x of, so let me show you in the code. So here I say if, do I have access to player? Yes. Um, do this, enunciate that, but so I say 0 on x and this. And you say why? Because if I say that, no, yes, it would. If I say 0, so that's why I change that here. And also and the rest of the thing is just like that. Also, for this, it's good. Have to jump like this and then hit another, because without a sound effect, it would be very beautiful. So I say Yes, because it's not only this one. So let's go to the code. Clips, private, audio. Here you should get components. Let's play. What? Oh, sorry. This. And add it here as well. As they're the same thing, you can bring them out of these two and put it outside. But that's fine. And let the code to compile. And then go here and drag and drop your clip, which was this. And play the game. Play. I think that's fine. Appear. So it's one or yes. And when I go